This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Feed me, meow, meow, meow.
Because of this podcast, I'm a gay icon.
I'm so hot. I'm so good looking. My salad dressing is amazing.
Like the internet at large, there are things you can do on the internet besides porn, but most of it's porn.
A Lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
And it's been a while. We're back.
I feel like instead of saying it's your favorite day of the week, we need to start saying it's your favorite occasional day of the month.
True.
We've been gone for a while. Yeah. Apologies. Welcome back.
Sorry, we're all very busy.
Yeah, just like a Hallmark movie heroine, yeah. We're very busy.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Yes,
things are going on. I know I'm exhausted. Hey, we have lost episodes too. Like, remember when the Honeymooners, there were lost episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have some episodes that have gotten lost somehow.
This is true.
Swallowed up.
Yes.
Swallowed up by the interwebs.
The lost episodes of A Lifetime of Hallmark.
Yeah. They'll be recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
well, there in the very far future, there's going to be an antiques dealer that is going to go search for our lost episodes and find love while finding them.
And they'll find him in a locket.
Good.
Yeah.
Which is what this movie's about.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Lost Locket?
Legend of the Lost Locket.
The Legend of the Lost Locket.
Yeah, and I have to say, when you first suggested this and you sent the little screen grab, the artwork for it and the name of the movie, I was like, oh no, this is going to be a bad Indiana Jones ripoff. It's going to be an Indiana Jones ripoff with no budget. And it wasn't that. And then we started watching the movie, and then I thought it was something else, and it wasn't that. And I actually ended up liking the movie.
Yeah, I did too. It's one of these movies that like sneak attacked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of. Well, and it also had Lifetime movie elements to it.
Very much so. There's a black hoodie in this movie.
The black hoodie made a comeback.
They're sneaking around.
There's actual breaking and entering, not snooping, like legit breaking and entering.
And
which
an
was kind of charming.
Black hoodie. She's kind of stylish with it.
Yeah.
With a black hoodie with a leather jacket on some and gloves. And you know how I love a cat burglar outfit and I love gloves when breaking and entering.
Yeah, you got to wear gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, it's been a while. What's happened in the world since we've talked?
Well, sure,
I was going to say, speaking of gloves, I think we lost OJ since the last time we spoke.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we lost OJ. And of course, I've gotten obsessed with this. I've been like reading about the OJ case, and I just rewatched the Made in America. Is that what it's called? I just rewatched the documentary that's on Netflix. There's also a podcast where they do like 7 hours of just the minutia of the case and Kato Kaelin and And I was listening to a podcast interview with Kato Kaelin. We were talking about this before, even before OJ passed away. So I know a lot about Kato Kaelin.
OJ ruined daytime soap operas.
Yeah. When I first moved to LA, I moved here in 1995, and it was right in the middle of the trial. And where I was first staying, they didn't have cable, and all the local channels, every single one of them, was showing wall-to-wall coverage of the trial. So there was nothing to watch during the day.
Yeah, he ruined daytime soap operas, but daytime soap operas are making a comeback.
Why do you say that?
There's going to be a new soap.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was very surprising to hear.
A new soap?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a new soap opera called The Gate.
Like, I find it surprising because even when soaps were very much in their heyday, it was very hard to launch a new soap because you're changing people's habits, trying to get them to tune in, watch this new thing, and stay watching it every single day. And now, with the sort of changed media landscape, it's even more surprising they're launching one.
Well, but what happened is, so Days of Our Lives, instead of NBC canceling it, they moved it to Peacock, to streaming.
Yeah.
And it's consistently, since it's moved to Peacock, it's been in the top 10.
Okay.
So what a lot of networks are doing, so like CBS, for example, has a streaming platform as well. So they'll premiere it on their channel, but it'll not only be on their channel, it'll be on their streaming too.
Got it.
So you can watch it whenever you want. And the cool thing about the Gates is the major family is going to be an African-American family.
And when is it premiering?
January 2025.
Okay.
Because I will be watching.
And where are they shooting the Gates? Is that a
Los Angeles? It's going to be on CBS. So it's going to be like, I think, wedged between Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful.
But does that mean they're filming in Los Angeles, or are they filming somewhere less expensive?
Yeah. No, they're filming in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
no, actually, I don't know the town where they're going to center it, but no, it's filming at CBS.
That's what I was asking.
Well, because they're kicking all those tenants out, though, too.
Really?
Yeah, so where they film The Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful is CBS Television City, which is just like a mile from here. And that's also where they used to do Price is Right. Well, they moved Price is Right over to CBS Radford in Studio City last year because they're slowly moving the tenants out so they can remodel that whole complex.
Oh.
Inside.
In fact, I went to American Idol yesterday, and they used to do that at CBS Television City, and that's in another studio now, too.
You were in the audience?
How was American Idol?
I was backstage. What was that, Les?
How was it?
It was good. I was there as a guest of a former winner that came back to perform last night named Just Sam. Just Sam won in 2020.
Did you see Katie?
I saw none of them up close. The only people I saw up close were the top 10 that were there.
Mm-hmm. So
I was backstage the entire time.
No Lionel, no Luke.
Didn't see Lionel. No
I'd
Lionel.
love to see Lionel Richie, actually.
I'd like to meet him.
Do they have craft services are backstage? Right?
Yes. Oh, there's actually a funny craft services story. I don't know if it's that funny, but every set I've ever been on, craft service is normally just a table and the snacks are out and you go and just grab what you want. This one, I think because they have so many people coming through there that aren't on the show, they're just like guests of the show, they actually have a person manning the craft services table and you have to ask them, oh, I'd like that bag of Sun Chips, please.
Oh, okay.
You'd never survive.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they give it to you.
that.
They don't say no, but it's just so you're not like stuffing your bag.
Oh, that's smart because there are a lot of bag stuffers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kurt Fitzpatrick.
No, I'm not that bad. There are people worse than me.
Are you sure?
I'm a bag stuffer. I mean, I get a couple things, some like Rice Krispie marshmallow things, and
they had those
Nutter Butters.
They had those.
They have those. That's on like every set.
We know how you love crafty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway,
on a set.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, well, I know. I said it's been a while since I've been on a set.
Anyway, so listen, before we start, we actually have movie recommendations. And I'd like to present this to the audience. Listen, if you guys have we used to ask for them, but I didn't know why we stopped. But listen, if you all have recommendations, if you recommend movies, we'll watch them.
Oh, I thought you were going to give like a movie review. Like,
no.
He's like, I saw this movie, Oppenheimer. And I've got opinions.
Like Lifetime or Hallmark movie.
Well, so what are the suggestions we've gotten?
So we have one from our listener, Jaquetta.
Okay.
And the movie, so remember the movie Look Who's Talking? Yeah. Well, this movie is called Look Who's Stalking.
Oh, okay. So Lifetime movie, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Is it similar premise? Does the baby has a voice?
Maybe the knife does.
The baby.
Or the shaky camera.
Like the knife is like, oh, look at her. I could cut her wide open.
I'm feeling piercing today.
And then my sister recommended a movie called Plus One at an Amish Wedding.
That's a long title.
So we know which channel that one's from.
Plus One at an Amish Wedding. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
So listeners.
How do they even film this movie?
Where? How?
No, how? You can't bring electricity.
With a straw camera.
True. Maybe it's like Gilligan's Island. Remember on Gilligan's Island where they, like, if they want to listen to the record player, they had a bike. And they'd bring the bike. But you know who doesn't have to ride a bike to listen to a record player? Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Well, I wanted to say that on April 16th, which was my birthday, the Los Angeles Times came out with a very thoughtful profile of Miss Angela White, also known as Blac Chyna.
Oh.
So I think I'll read a little excerpt from this. This is written by Marissa Evans. So this is from the Los Angeles Times. We don't usually do articles from like Los Angeles Times. It's usually from some
Like
Yahoo News. But
Black
so
Tail Magazine.
let's enjoy this fine writing that we have here.
Okay.
Okay. Angela White is radiant. When she walks up to our table at a cafe at Calabasas, there are no cameras and no filters. She is petite with a big personality and laugh. Her face is flawless. It exudes warmth when she smiles. She is happy, really, truly happy with the Angela she is now. She is honest that media interviews are not always her favorite thing, not when she has been burned before, not when her openness hasn't always been met with graciousness or kindness. But she is slowly but surely aimed to open up more. After all, she has nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of. The price of White's beauty over the years could be summed up in needles, injections, fillers, burning sensations, and judgment. When White,
Burning sensation.
Let's stop right there. Burning sensations and judgment. That's half my sex
judgment.
life.
oh, well, that's good. I think that's half your sex judgment. Oh, I don't know if that would be good or not.
No, it's not
All
good.
right.
Not good.
When White was in the thick of getting cosmetic procedures, they didn't hurt. But when she videotaped herself getting her cheek fillers removed last March, the reality TV star said it stung and burned. The needle pricks and breast and butt reduction surgeries within the last year were the cost of change that White was determined to undergo physically, emotionally, spiritually in a less than kind or forgiving media environment. But whatever you call this phase of her life, a transformation or metamorphosis or whatever you decide to call her, Blac Chyna, China, or Angela will do. White is eager to see who she will become. So that's what I'll read.
Is she
That's all I'll read.
promoting something right now? What is this profile for?
She does have a new show, it looks like. They mentioned a couple movies that she's actually acted in, which I was in. She was the part of the cast of the Tubi platform movies Vicious Affair and Forever Us. Why don't we do one of those movies?
Good. Those sound like Lifetime-y.
We could.
I didn't know she was in these movies.
Wait, what are
This
they
sounds
called?
like a good
Vicious Affair and what?
setup. And the other one's called Forever Us.
We could.
One sounds like a Lifetime, one sounds like a Hallmark. And what does she have coming up? It looks like she's up to something. I mean, she's got a pretty good publicist that she actually has a legit article here. But it goes into her transformation of herself, her physical transformation, her baptism, how she has become religious, and she now has a strong relationship with God, her relationship with her fans, and she stopped drinking alcohol.
I just feel like there's something else behind them writing this big, huge profile on Blac Chyna. No offense to her, because she's obviously important to our show, and we talk about her all the time, but I don't think she's a big enough star to warrant a massive write-up with no connection to it.
I think there's a lot of elements to her life and her career that are interesting enough to, add these things up, and it makes for an interesting article. I mean, this article could be also primarily for people who aren't familiar with her, and they read this, and it's an interesting profile.
Do you think there are readers in the Los Angeles Times that they read up on this and they're like, well, now I'm going to look up her OnlyFans?
Right.
She's not on OnlyFans anymore.
Well, isn't the archive there?
I don't know.
Now, Blac Chyna, if you want to come on this podcast and talk about it, we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never
the
formally
record
asked
straight.
her, though. Who did I ask? I did reach out to a couple people. The little kid from the Tortellis, he wouldn't come on. There was somebody else. I wanted to get Jennifer. Oh, what's her name?
Were you going to get the baby sister from Dirty Dancing
Square
on?
Pegs. Well, I know her.
I know.
Well, I'm not going to ask people I know. No, I could.
Yeah.
Do you want her on the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
Yes.
I play Zoom games with her.
We would love to talk to her.
I mean, we do this thing on Zoom, essentially.
Oh, Tracy Nelson. That's who I was going to ask. Maybe I did.
Yes, and we'd love Tracy. We love Tracy Nelson on this podcast.
Absolutely.
But you're talking about Jane Rucker.
Yes.
Yes, I know her.
Well, we'd be happy to chat with Jane Brucker.
All right, now she's going to hear. We're saying her name. It's going to get out into the interwebs, and it's going to get back to her.
We're nice.
It's got to. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
We said
We would
nothing
love
but
to
nice
have
things
Jane.
about her.
What's that?
We said nothing but nice things.
Yeah,
Well, of course.
exactly. And
What
of
did
course,
you say?
we would love to have the GOAT, Eric Roberts.
Yeah. Jack A.
All right.
We're just
Jack
going through
A.
the wish
Oh my
list
God,
again.
we'd love to have Jack A.
June Squibb. Any of our people that we talk about a lot.
Yes.
The ultimate get would be the park ranger, the actor who played the.
Well,
the
no,
actor-
because we're not nice to her.
But imagine confronting that, though. Like, I think legit, if we were to get the park ranger, we need to all fly to the same city and do a live episode.
Oh yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
bet. You know what? The person.
You know-
I bet if we got a hold of June Squibb, I bet June Squibb would do it.
Sure.
I
What
think
makes you
like-
think the June Squibb is like, I hope some podcast calls me?
No, I bet she'd be like, you know what, honey, I'd be happy to do it.
Ah, there we go. With
That's
that impression, that's
it's
it.
perfect June
that's
Squibb
not
impression.
flattering. That is not flattering, and now she's going to be mad. She's out.
She has a film coming out that she has to promote. Don't tell mom the babysitter's
I
dead.
think it's already out.
Is it out?
I think it's out.
I
don't
saw
know.
a poster.
It may have already been gone.
Oh. Well, June,
What's
if
this
you want to
movie?
come and talk about it.
What's this movie? Challengers. Are they
This
having
one was Zendaya.
threesome? Yeah. Are they having a threesome in this movie?
I don't know
Hear
if
it's- I haven't seen it.
I've
but I
seen
hear
the
it's
trailer. I've seen the trailer, and in the trailer, if it doesn't lead to a threesome, there is at least a three-way kiss. And there's been a lot of talk
Oh,
in the
that's
press about the
lame.
kissing in the movie.
good. It's getting good feedback.
Looks great. I'm going to see it this week.
Doing well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's getting good
I love
feedback,
Zendaya. I
so-
think Zendaya is immensely talented.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
I
Are
like-
you guys watching? Are you guys watching the Jinx?
I am
Jinx?
watching the Jinx.
Yay!
What's that? I don't know if
Another
it
guy's
is.
getting acquitted. That's
This-
it's a documentary series on HBO.
About this creepy old man,
Who's very rich, very wealthy.
but he
He's part of
killed
like a
people.
wealthy family. Yes, he killed he killed his wife. He killed his friend who was going to give information about killing his wife, and he killed his roommate. And he was acquitted the third time, but now they kind of have him.
Because the way he got caught was they were filming this HBO documentary, and he had a hot mic, and he said, when he thought nobody was listening, he said, "Yeah, I did it. I killed them."
He's like, I killed them all.
Okay.
And he goes, what are you gonna do? Because he keeps having these conversations with himself, and he's like, well, I killed them all.
He sounds like Max from Heart to Heart.
That's what he sounds like, though. That's what he sounds like. And then he has like a weird. Did you notice, Kurt? Like when he calls people, he has like a weird baby voice, like "hello."
Yeah, no, I think he's trying to disguise his voice. That's the thing, because he knows they're recording him.
So it's like a weird.
They know it's him. The show, I'm telling you, the show is it is funny because he's such a weird character, and there's kind of like other weird people around him.
And he does not give a shit, because when he's talking to people on the phone from jail, he's like, "And don't say anything."
No, they're gonna yeah.
And then he starts himself.
Yeah, and then he's talking to people who he thinks are listening in. He's like, "Listen, police chief, whatever.
Yeah,
don't call these people, Bob."
And people really like him because people are willing to do all sorts of illegal shit for him.
Actually, he doesn't sound like Max from Heart to Heart. He sounds like McGruff the crime dog. We'll take a bite out of crime.
I think you should watch the show, Jason.
Yeah, it's actually, Jason, you would like the show.
I think you would. Yeah, it's good. You might.
I don't care about this true crime stuff. I don't care.
But it's just him. Like he just like the things he did to do crime. He pretended to be a woman at one point for like months and got away with it.
Yeah, and he testifies. He testifies that he chopped the body up, but he doesn't say he murdered. So he gets off. He gets acquitted by the jury, even though they heard his testimony. They chopped the body up.
And didn't you think at first, like, why would they have a Jinx 2? And now I'm like, oh my God, Jinx 1 was just like tip of the iceberg.
I thought, yeah, I was surprised as well, but here we are.
I'm watching the Jinx. I'm watching Loot.
I haven't watched season 2 yet, but I didn't love season 1 until the last like couple episodes. They finally found their groove, so I'm hoping they still have
season
their
2 is good.
What is this show called?
It's called Loot. It's an Apple TV. Maya Rudolph's in it. Maya Rudolph, Adam Scott.
But yeah, so season 2, they've like kept the groove up.
Have you been watching Palm Royale, Les?
Of course, I
was going to say you would love Palm Royale. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's Apple. Right at my alley.
That's Apple as well, Kurt. Yeah.
Well, I don't have Apple. What?
Who looks great, 92 years old.
I think.
Yes, I did hear she was in the.
Oh, Carol Burnett. Yeah, you'd cut out there, but mention Carol Burnett. She's very funny on the show too.
That's like.
What was that, Les?
I said Palm Royale. That's right up my alley.
Yeah. And apparently, the Legend of the Lost Locket is up your alley too, because you picked it for us.
Yes. So we see a woman.
Ooh.
And at first, for a split second, I thought that it was like Cinderella or something.
For a split second, I was ready to murder you.
Oh.
Because as I revealed a few weeks ago, I hate movies that are like costume drama type of things where everyone's in like long flowy outfits with corsets and it's set in olden times and they're speaking with bad British accents, and that's how this movie started, and I was so mad.
Okay.
But it didn't last long.
And then there was a guy. There's a man and a woman, and the man's like, I have to go to work. And they were very dramatic. She's like, I have to go to work. And she's like, but I'm going to miss you. Here's a locket. And she gives him a locket. And the locket belonged to Queen Elizabeth. And then he takes the half of the locket and he leaves. Oh, by the way, Queen Elizabeth the first.
Oh, the first.
Not the second. Yeah. So he leaves. And then we see this woman and she's in a furniture store.
Older furniture. It looked antique-y.
Yeah. And so she's like an antique person. Like in the antiques world, I guess she's known in the antiques world. I had no idea there was an antiques world.
Oh, there
but
totally
I guess there is one.
Have you ever seen Antiques Roadshow?
No.
No,
There's a scene in this
I heard
movie
about it.
that's
I've
very
never watched
similar
it.
to that show.
they just bring shit on. It's a show where they just bring shit on, and then someone appraises it.
Oh, kind
here's
of
a
like they did
vase.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically go, well, here's a vase, and there's all kinds of shit going on behind them. They're at like a convention or something.
Yeah,
Here's a vase.
It's like this
Yeah.
very like serious conversation because people bring this up because sometimes they do discover things on this show that are worth an enormous amount of money, and other times it's just junk. So there's like an excitement of like, what's the antiquities dealer going to tell me? And in the background, it's just like chaos because everyone else is getting their shit appraised too.
Oh, that's hilarious because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So we find out that all this furniture, like the lock, they start talking about the locket, and it belonged to Jacob Jameson, and he founded a town, and he ended up becoming this big deal, but they only have half of the locket. But
it should be noted the woman that has the other half of the locket, her name was Wilma, and the town that he founds in America is called Wilmington.
Oh, and then by the way, they're in England. That at this point, Wilma's in England.
Yeah.
But wasn't
And
Wilma?
so we find out that her mom is dead.
I see dead people.
And her mom was like an antiques person as well, and it was her mom's dream to find the other half of this locket.
Amelia's mom, yeah. And Kurt, you were going to say something about Wilma?
Wasn't she Fred Flintstone's wife?
She was, yeah.
Yes, she was.
Okay, that was my question.
And she'd go running through the store with credit cards going, charge it!
Yeah. And she
she
once
had, like,
broke off
rocks.
half a boulder and gave it to Fred and said, these two pieces need to come together to be whole again.
Wow. Well, then there's a plagiarism issue here.
Yeah, truly. Hallmark is like, they're never going to suspect if we steal from the Flintstones.
Now, okay, so this next part, so Amelia books a flight to go to the States to look for this other half of this locket, but why did it have to be a secret?
Oh, there's a secret with her.
It was a secret because you don't want to, like, if there really is this actual antique that is worth a lot of money, and this was a very special thing, is like half of this locket that was from Queen Elizabeth, if the word gets out in the antiques world, then other people are going to descend and try and get it before her. It is a hint of like an Indiana Jones kind of thing. Like everyone knows there's this treasure, so everyone's going to chase after the treasure.
Oh, and then so another subplot is they have this antique store in England, but they want to expand their antique stores, but they don't have enough money to expand. So if they were to find this locket, I guess they would come into so much money, they'd be able to expand, and they'd also be like celebrities in the antiques world.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we then see her, Amelia, she's driving. Her car breaks down. A man pulls over to help her. His name is Jack. And he offers to give her a ride. And she's like, I don't get in the car with strangers.
No.
Which, very good. Good for her.
Jack didn't offer to give her the ride. Jack was the mechanic that was there telling her car was broken. Jack, and we'll find out through the movie, Jack has like a zillion different jobs in this small town. She meets Marcus, who is there, who offers to give her a ride.
Yeah.
Did they explain why Marcus was there in the moment, though? Like, how did he end up there?
No, they
He
didn't
was driving
explain.
by.
He was just there.
He was
Okay.
driving by.
Yeah, they had one road in the whole area, so everybody's driving by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes to the bed and breakfast, which is run by Marcus's sister, Francine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
She has a daughter, Hannah.
yeah, she has a precocious little daughter, Hannah. And they're talking about the town, and little Hannah actually knows the history of the town because she's going to have a test. And so we find out that Amelia is actually the only guest in the entire bed and breakfast. And we also find out that Hannah wants to be an officer of the law because Marcus, her uncle, is an officer of the law.
Well, we don't know that at this point, do we?
Oh, we gave it away.
Yeah, gave it away. I only say that because it was like they waited a while to reveal that detail, and I didn't know why it needed to be hidden.
But then Marcus had a bunch of jobs too. Like everybody in this town had a bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they were complaining that there's not enough work. It's because like 2 people have all the jobs in the whole town.
Because, like, for example, when Amelia goes to grab dinner at the local diner, the tow truck driver also works at the diner.
Yeah. And then we find out later.
Chef.
And later in the movie, we find out that he writes for the paper, too.
Yeah.
How does he have all these? This says like this is a vast array of abilities.
Yeah.
So he's a pastry chef and he's a mechanic?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a taxi driver.
Well,
He's a
varied
Renaissance
interests,
man.
Kurt.
I hope he washes his hands before he starts.
And he works at the diner.
I don't want any greasy, oily, crumb cakes.
So he's very nice. And he actually introduces her to a table full of women. And one of the women is like the town bitch.
Oh, they look like mean girls.
Yeah. Yeah. They're totally mean.
Yeah.
Well, it was
And
only
she's
the
like,
one
why
that
are
was
you
mean.
here?
I think they were all sort of skeptical of this, like, outsider, what's she doing here? But only one of them was kind of bitchy.
They looked a little mean.
So
And they shade her. They shade her for researching the town.
Yes, they do.
Man, that's deep.
It kind of reminded me, because like sometimes Kurt and I go to Fresno to do shows, and sometimes like we're there and people are like, why are you here? Like,
I would imagine that there's a bit of that, like, oh, like New York and LA people are here. What, like, why are you doing Fresno? What's
like when we go to Indiana, when we go to Indianapolis, it's the same thing. People are like, why are you here? Like, and they look at us, it's like, because it's a job.
Yeah, man. Did they say that to Taylor Swift when she travels from city to city? Did they say to her, "Why are you here"?
No.
Well,
So I love this
don't.
part because they're being the one woman's being bitchy to her, and Amelia looks at the table and she sees these salt and pepper shakers. And she's like, oh my God, these are actually antiques. And she whips out she just happens to have like a monocle.
Yeah.
And
well,
she looks at
Amelia
it and
also has another job as the planter's peanut.
She's like, I forgot my top hat at home.
Yeah.
I like that.
But she looks at the salt and pepper shakers and she's like, these are actually antiques. And she tells the women, like the women are actually, even the bitchy one is like impressed. And she's like, listen, bring your like she tells the bitchy one, hey, if you got some stuff at home, bring like your jewelry tomorrow and I'll take a look at it.
I thought she was blowing smoke out their ass when she was talking about the salt shaker was worth money. But no, I think that was for real.
So then Marcus shows up.
That amused me in the moment because I'm like, okay, they're trying to show that she's got actual skills. But can you imagine if just a tiny little salt shaker had lasted that long, like over 100 years, and it's somehow just still being used every day in that restaurant?
Right.
Like nobody ever dropped it?
No. The salt. Wow, that salt shaker is the chalice from the Last Supper. I can't believe it's being used here at this diner.
Jesus used it to salt his unleavened bread.
And his table is made from wood from Noah's Ark.
Right.
I can smell it.
So Marcus comes in wearing a suit.
And he's got another
And
job too.
Amelia needs to look at the town archive. So he's taken her to the archives, and they walk by an empty antique shop that's for sale. And it looks like the antique shop still has all the antiques inside of it.
Yeah, but they said it closed several years earlier.
Yeah, but it still has the furniture in it. And so they're flirting.
Yeah, but she's being secretive.
Yeah.
They won't tell him what she's doing.
So then they go to the archives, and the archive person, she kind of scares the archive person because they're not used to people going in there. And
well, it's not the archive person. We find out that her name is Poppy, and that she doesn't actually work there. She's the mayor's girlfriend.
And so
Bob's
this
girlfriend.
couple, so have you guys ever worked for like at a place where a couple works there, like a boss has his wife working there or something, and it gets just kind of uncomfortable because they're always fighting? This is what that was like.
When I was like 15, 16, I worked at this like fast casual, like not quite fast food, but kind of fast food place. And the owner of it was dating this woman for a while. And the longtime manager got squeezed out by this woman. And this woman started making all these changes. And like everybody hated it. But she was like, well, I'm marrying the owner, so I'm going to do what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a very uncomfortable dynamic.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a bit of a mismatched couple as well.
You think?
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think
Well,
Poppy's
how's that?
probably using Bob for his power as the mayor.
Yeah, for clout.
Well, in my notes,
First lady.
I wrote, Bob's got money and a 13-inch dick, and he listens and he licks Quim.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Was that inappropriate? I was looking up synonyms for vagina, and I had never seen that one before. So
I haven't heard that word in
Does it
a
mean-
very long time.
Does it mean something else?
You can all look it up.
Does it? It means something else because it says.
No, you're using it. You're using it the right way.
Okay.
I just haven't heard the word in a while.
Sorry,
I'm very happy. I'm usually the one that takes the most disgusting route possible, and you beat me there.
We still have time.
So we also find out that the town is having a birthday party, and Poppy's helping to plan it.
Yes.
They're planning it.
The 200th anniversary.
Yeah.
Of what? Oh,
Of the town.
Of the town.
Yeah.
So they're like, the archives are closed, but you have to come back. And then as they're telling her this, the tow truck driver, who also works in the diner, who's also the pastry chef, who also drives the taxi in town, delivers their food.
Yeah.
So he's also a food delivery driver.
Well, he probably just had to walk it across the way from the diner.
Right. And so since this town is so old-fashioned, since the town is old-fashioned, they haven't digitized anything.
No.
So all of their and then while they're telling her this, Poppy looks at they look at the invites, the invitations come in, and we find out that Poppy misspelled the name of the town on the invitation. Well,
the calligrapher did.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think it was Poppy.
I think she did it on purpose. And this really. is in this moment, some red lights red flags started going up for me about Poppy.
Why would she do it? Why would she try to sabotage the invitations?
She's maybe trying to make the party less successful so she can somehow manipulate Bob. I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor Bob.
Because Poppy looked like, Poppy looked like she was ready for bigger and better things.
Yeah. Well, apparently Bob's got something bigger and better, according to Kurt.
I said, looks Quim.
So then, And then the mayor and Bob and Poppy start fighting. And Amelia just looks like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So then we see it's night.
Right.
And we see a
shocked by
black hoodie
In a
was
Hallmark
shocked.
movie.
in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, this was jarring.
Seeing a black hoodie.
I almost thought it was a dream
Same, the
sequence because
same.
this came after she talked to her partner at the antique store back in London, and they were kind of lamenting about like what would my mom do, and the partner said something along the lines of, well, that I'd worry to think about what your mom would do, and then we cut to Amelia in the black hoodie breaking into town hall.
with a leather jacket.
Yeah, bypassing
gloves.
the alarm.
And how did she think she was going to get away with this? This is really strange.
And a form-fitting jeans. Like, she was like ready to go.
Yeah.
She's like, I am British and I am a cat. Like, I'm from the land of the cat burglar. Look out.
I would think this would be like a last resort of desperation. It seemed to me that she may have had a couple other options before she had to do that.
I feel like you could distract Poppy and just go in the archives during the day.
Yeah, like bring Poppy some vodka or some
no.
some wine or something.
I know how to distract Poppy.
I know 13
say
ways
it,
to
yeah.
distract Poppy.
You know 13 ways?
Wait, that was the number of inches you said that the mayor had.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, that's right.
so she goes in and Amelia gets caught
Each inch is a reason.
by Marcus, this is when we find out that Marcus is also the sheriff in town.
Right.
And
I like
he's just
she's
like,
the sheriff.
he sends her right to jail.
Well, she did commit a crime.
Yeah. And actually, he didn't send her to jail. He was just questioning her.
And was it?
That's very
And he
nice.
was also a lawyer too, right?
No.
I hope not.
No, she said she wanted
no,
a lawyer. Or no, somebody else says that later in the movie.
And then, so she wanted to look at the archives, and he's like, well, why do you want to look at them? And she's like, well, I can't tell you. So he just issued her a ticket.
A ticket for trespassing. She broke into a government building and gets a
Right.
ticket
She shot-
for trespassing?
Because she's attractive.
Plus, she shot the security guard. And then on their way out, she set the place on fire.
Is this how it's going to go for the Capitol rioters? They're like,
Well,
just a
right.
ticket for trespassing.
Oh, we find out that he was a detective in Boston, and he and his parents died. So
No.
he came back-
Francine's husband died.
I see dead
Oh, Fran-
people.
And so he came back to
Francis'
help her
husband
raise
died.
the
He came
kid.
back to help out,
Yeah.
and he just decided to stay. And then this next part was kind of lame because she had like just some little map, and she didn't have that many. She acted like it was all important, but she only had like 3 sentences on it.
I don't think it was that she lost the map that really concerned her. It was the fact that when she then found the map, it was very much not in the spot where she was sure she put it.
She put it in her journal.
She
but
put it in her
wasn't
journal and
there
it was
when
like
she-
clasped shut, and it was still clasped shut, but the map wasn't in there. The map was in the bottom of her bag. So it sort of raised some antenna of like, how did that happen? That doesn't make sense.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
It meant somebody was snooping.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. And she goes to the diner, and everybody, like, it's full of people with antiques.
Yeah.
Garbage. It's like one of those paper shredding events. People just bring all their shit.
You know what it reminded me of? Isn't there a scene in Ghost where like word gets around that Whoopi Goldberg actually has powers, and so it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
is
And all
everyone is
goes
like
with it.
beating down her door. It reminded me of that. Everyone's there with their antiques because they found out that Amelia knows what she's talking about.
Because then we also find out that the town is very gossipy. So everything gets out.
Well, it's got to be also the town's really poor right now. Like everything's dying there.
Right there, yanking
And
everything
so-
off their walls.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we also find out that the tow truck driver, pastry chef, food delivery guy put it in the paper because he also works at the paper. So he wrote about it in the paper.
Yeah. Where do you think the mayor put it, Kurt?
What?
Never mind.
Well, just no. I'm up for it.
I said, where do you think the mayor put it?
Oh, well, I'll tell you. I stole this from the Isabella Stewart Court Museum in Boston. How much is this worth? I'd put that at about $8,000. Anyway, how much is this Danish worth?
So,
Okay.
so she starts appraising, and she knows what she's talking about. And then they decide. So why do they need a permit? I wrote, we need a permit.
Because they're going to have an antique fair now.
Yeah. They basically realized like all these people came out for this. There's clearly a market for it here, especially since there is no longer an antique store in this very old town with all this very old stuff. So they're going to stage a fair the day after the big town birthday party.
And so she tells Marcus, I still need to see the archives. And Marcus is like, okay. So they go to the archives, and while they go to the archives, we see that Amelia is being watched by someone.
Yeah, shaky camera from far away, like a Lifetime movie.
Yes. And I was like, stalking in a Hallmark movie? Wow, just when I thought that Hallmark had the new Hallmark, they're like, okay, we'll get even newer.
I wonder if Lifetime movies will become more like Hallmark movies. Like they'll have Prince movies, like the woman meets a prince.
We watched one.
Actually stalking.
We watched the wrong Prince Charming, remember?
It was real Prince?
No, he wasn't a prince. He was lying about it. His Lifetime.
The wrong Prince.
Wrong Prince Charming.
Oh, so they are. It has come to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works at Revolver.
Yeah.
That's right, the wrong Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Oh, so they go to the archives and they find the box, but the box has nothing in it. And the mayor really doesn't know much because his assistant retired, and she would be the person who would know. So the documents are missing, and the cops actually blame Amelia. And Marcus wants to search her room.
Well, she is shady.
To be fair, the cops are Marcus. He's the one blaming Amelia.
Yeah.
And his sister, Francine's like, you really need to chill out. Leave her, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, she did break into the place in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. She
she
broke
also
into a government building.
I think Francine needs to maybe reevaluate the situation.
Well, her security's lax.
So,
I'm thinking of Enid. Never mind.
Yeah, they decided. So, Enid was the former assistant, right?
Oh, no, we go to Enid.
Enid, I don't know how they set up Enid, but we find out that Enid is the granddaughter of Jane, who is the wife of Jacob Jameson.
Things get convoluted.
Because they suspect that Jacob Jameson was actually James Jacobson in England and changed his name when he moved over here.
Right. And so Enid is like this. Enid is an older lady, but Enid is kind of like the Blanche Devereaux. So she's meditating, she's doing yoga, she's sassy.
She's living life.
Yeah. She did not want to be in that meditation, though. She was quick to get the fuck out of there.
Well, she ruined the class. She ruined the class for everybody else.
She really
She's
did.
Yapping away.
She's like, "What, guys? I gotta go? Really? Oh no!"
Why would you interrupt anyway?
I know.
But yeah, so and then Marcus apologizes to Amelia as well for being hard on her.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Oh, I know what it was. Enid's mom was the assistant of the mayor for 50 years and started the town archives because of her connection to Jane, who married, Jane and Jacob.
Oh, and then Edith also has like this embroidery, and the embroidery has like a message on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a poem.
So they explained that like back then women would do, or young women would make these sewing samples to sort of get better at their embroidery and stitching. They would do this before they were married. So immediately Amelia's like, well, this clearly was done after she was married, so she already knew how to stitch. That's why the letters are so good. And instead of doing like the alphabet or like a Bible verse or something really common, this is like actual original writing. So this probably means something.
Right. And so while they're going through all this, Poppy comes by. Yeah.
What's she after?
13 something.
And during this time too,
Insatiable.
we also find out that Jacob made all of his own furniture. And then they start talking about the fact that a lot of the furniture back then had like secret compartments in it.
Sometimes when you talk about making furniture, people can get kind of insulting. Because I was going to make a bed, like a loft bed, and more than one person said, well, I wouldn't sleep in that bed. You better be careful. It's like, F you. I'm going to make a secure loft bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I have to say about making furniture.
Do you have a lot of furniture making background, Kurt?
I never made any furniture.
Oh.
Considering,
So
I'm considering making
I think
a little
those
birdhouse.
people's skepticism is at least slightly warranted.
I mean,
The first effort.
I might make a little birdhouse. Well, I wouldn't want a bird in that birdhouse. That bird's gonna fall through the roof, through the ceiling. I don't know what the bird's gonna do. I guess birds fly. They could end up going through the roof.
Right.
It's not my problem.
You're like, it's not my problem. Poor birds.
I should make birdhouses.
So they find a painting, and the painting has like a bunch of smoke damage on it.
Well, they're in a
And
very dark room.
And they think that if they get the painting fixed, that it could help them, would give them like some kind of clue. So Marcus is like, well, I know a guy in Boston who could do this. So they're driving to Boston and they're talking about their lives. And so Amelia grew up in Sussex, and her father died when she was young.
I see dead people.
And then he talks about how his mother died.
I see dead people.
And they're bonding. And then they park to go into this place, and Amelia is like, I feel like I'm being watched by someone. And so they go into this place, and this guy named Luis Alvarez.
She's like Rockwell.
Yes, she's exactly like Rockwell, the singer of Somebody's Watching Me.
And his name is Luis Alvarez, and he's like this hip antiques person with a mullet.
Yeah, he had an interesting look.
And so she says where she's from, and then Lewis says like, oh my gosh, I hear that your town is gonna have a founders ball, and it's like the hottest ticket in town.
Yeah, he heard about this,
but also knows who Amelia's mother is.
Yeah, Margaret. He's like, oh my gosh, are you Margaret's daughter? And so he was like, actually, so yeah, this painting has smoke damage, but I could clean it in a couple of hours. So just hang out and come back in a couple of hours. And Kurt, I'm sure you like this part because Marcus and Amelia went to get cannoli.
Well, I have some issues with this.
Why?
Is this really what Boston is known for cannolis? Is that true?
I thought it was clam chowder.
I don't think somebody could actually say they're known for cannolis. I don't think I've had cannolis, and they're very, very similar. I don't even remember one cannoli being different than the other.
I've never heard that being specifically attributed to Boston.
But then, Kurt, if you're in Boston and someone was like, Kurt, let's go get cannoli, would you be like, hell no, they're fake? Or would you go?
I would go, but then I might be critical afterwards. I'd say this tastes like a cannoli that you get in New York or Philadelphia or New Jersey or wherever else that I've spent a lot of time.
Well, I think the reason to sort of raise the question mark about this, Kurt, is they were treating it almost like how people associate New York with pizza. They were making it seem like, Boston, true. It's cannoli.
But pizza is better
I know.
in like New York,
no,
Philadelphia, Jersey.
I don't know that it's better, but people associate it with that. Yes.
It is better.
Sometimes.
My other problem is don't these people want to have lunch at this point? Isn't this like a lunchtime? They're just sitting there eating a little cannoli.
Well, I think that what they should do is while they're chowing down on their cannoli, they should order from Jack, and he'll just drive it there from Wilmington.
But then, Kurt, I thought that you would be the type that you would eat like a cannoli or a piece of cake over lunch.
No, I would have that as my dessert. That's what I would do. What do you mean over lunch? Like
instead of lunch, you have like a big piece of cake.
Oh, instead of lunch?
So like instead of having a salad, you'd have a piece of cake.
No, I eat the proper order of things.
So while they're having their cannoli, we find out that Marcus met Luis because there was a painting fraud case when he was a detective in Boston.
He basically cleared Lewis's name.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then Marcus tells Amelia, listen, I am talking about myself and telling you about myself, but you're not telling me much. What's up with that? So then, before she's forced to fess up or lie,
he started to sing that Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson song, What's Up With You? I was like, how'd they get the rights to that?
So, before she's forced to lie or something, she gets text from Luis. So, they go back to the shop, and there's actually a picture, like he got rid of the smoke damage, and it's a picture of the woman from the beginning of the movie, and she's holding a locket.
Okay.
And
it somehow proves that Jacob Jameson was James Jacobson.
Yes. And then Luis tells Marcus that Amelia is going to be the biggest star in the antiques world because of this.
You're going to be a big star. You have it. And he's upset.
Yeah.
Marcus is upset about this.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he should be.
No, because she was told not to say anything. It wasn't like it wasn't like she was doing it to be vindictive. She was specifically told, don't say anything, don't tell anybody. So she was just doing that.
You're going to be a star.
Imagine being a star.
One time.
So he yells at her.
Imagine being a star in the antiques world. Like just going around and you're just getting dick left and right because of
grumpy old
from
man
all of your antiquities dealings.
I met with some agent one time years ago. He's like, I'm young Hollywood. I can get Jerry Bruckheimer on the phone right now. I was like, oh, knock yourself out, man. It's this kid. I'm young Hollywood. I forgot about that.
Amelia's on her phone with her coworker. She's telling her what's going on. The coworker's like, well, why don't you just apologize for not telling him? Even though I told you not to say anything.
I wrote that Marcus is a dick.
You dick!
Why is he a dick? What'd he do?
Probably just wanted to hear that soundbite.
I'm sure he did.
No, it's just that he wasn't being understanding of Amelia. He was just mad at her.
And then we find out also, though, that the woman in the beginning of the movie faked her own death.
Yeah. Wilma faked her death. Do we find out here that who she is? Have we found that out yet?
They're speculating who she is.
Okay, so we could say it. So they think that Wilma faked her own death and came to the States and renamed herself Jane, so that Jane and Wilma are one and the same, much like Jacob and James are one and the same.
It's hard to fake your own death. How does she do it?
Because there was a fire.
Died in a fire, yeah.
Oh, that's what they said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
there was a fire.
died in a fire with the locket. That's what the other half of the locket was never found. And then they later find out that there was a woman with Jane's name that was on a ship headed to the States 2 days later.
Okay, see, I did watch the movie. There was a portion of the movie where I was thinking about joining a gym. So there was part of the movie I missed.
Was it the cannoli where you're like, ah, man?
Yeah, it probably was. Now that I look back at things.
So this next part I wrote in my notes. That would work. This would work for Kurt.
What's that?
Because she wanted to
to
apologize to him, and so she brought him lunch as a way to apologize. And I wrote that would work for Kurt.
It's kind of manipulative.
But you would forgive her if she brought you lunch.
Yeah. In this circumstance, I probably would. Well, what was the lunch?
Oh, good question.
Like sandwiches.
Maybe hot?
There was no cake, though.
Where were the sandwiches from? Did Jack make them, or are they from
the taxi driver?
Jack made them with his greasy hands.
Oh boy,
yeah,
greasy,
Kurt's not on board with that.
You're like,
filthy
I'm not forgiving
hands.
you. It's too greasy.
You're breaking your teeth on the nuts and bolts that are stuck in the ham.
And it's wrapped in a day-old newspaper.
Shooting a carburetor between two pieces of bread.
So we find out like the whole Lady Wilma story, and then Amelia tells Marcus that her mom bought that locket, and it was her mom's dream to find the other half, but she got sick and died, so she's doing this for her mom.
I liked a moment in this scene where Marcus pointed out to Amelia that she says sorry a lot.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a British thing, because I live with a British person and he says sorry a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
I just liked it because I feel like there is a bit of a cultural thing around women always sort of almost being trained from a very young age of being subservient, so that they're very quick to apologize for stuff that has nothing to do with them.
Well, okay, so in the UK, a big thing there that's like a huge thing is not being rude. And that's like you don't want to be rude, you don't want to be thought of as rude. And so, like, apologizing is a way of being polite.
Yeah. I see that more for Canadians than I do Brits. Because Brits can be really, really passive-aggressively bitchy.
Oh, yeah. Brits can be very shady bitchy.
Yeah, Brits have a way of saying the nicest thing possible, and it's the bitchiest thing possible at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. But I've heard Canadians some Canadians apologize. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Canadians are very, very apologetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The countries with with expert shade, the UK, France. Oh, France. Well, France, it isn't even shade. They'll just come right out.
Yeah, France is just direct as fuck.
Yeah, the UK is shade. France, they'll just tell you to your face.
And Americans just don't apologize for anything.
No.
France is the place where the person's like, can I speak to the manager? And the person's like, I am the manager.
See, I spent some time in Paris, and I found you always heard that the French people are rude. People weren't rude to me. They were very nice.
Oh, no, I like the French.
I needed help in a grocery store because I don't know what was happening, and people offered up help to me.
Well, they saw you as a big money sale on pastries.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, we can get rid of these croissants.
Yeah.
Well, there's a different way of doing things. Like when you buy fruit, it's like you had to like buy fruit separately, or I think you had to like weigh it and get a price tag out first, and there was a whole different way of doing things.
See, when I lived in Spain when I was younger, every store had its thing. So you'd go to the fruit store, you'd go to the meat store, you'd go to the bread store, and it was all like separate.
And you had to pay money. Oh, sorry.
And then and then on Saturdays you'd go to the supermercado. Supermarket.
Oh, okay.
Well, people don't know this, but you go to Europe, you got to pay money to use the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
And the bathrooms, and that doesn't mean they're well kept.
No. But
in,
it's more acceptable to pee in the alley there.
Oh, God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And if you don't have coins, you're screwed. But then there, coins mean more than here, though, too. Like a coin could be like $2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so they opened up their sandwiches and he had potato chips and she's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I wanted fries, but I forgot that chips are potato chips, not fries.
Right. The potato chips are called crisps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Potato chips are called crisps and cookies are called biscuits.
Oh.
And I remember once with one of my in-laws asking where the bathroom was, and they're like, what are you going to do? Go bathe?
You said yes.
Call it the loo.
That's right.
Anyway.
Not the WC?
No. That would be like, isn't that more like the South? The water closet?
The water closet?
That's like when bathrooms first moved inside. That's what they called it.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went from an outhouse to an in-house, and so it was a water closet.
It's before my time. But no, I never heard that, the water closet. That's something the Olsons would understand.
Oh, so
the Olsons on Little House on the Prairie had a water closet, and they called it that.
They had a water closet. They had a water closet.
Yeah.
They were rich.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. They'd understand.
They
She
were
said
the
an
first people to
outhouse
have
in
a
the
water
house.
closet. And then remember, they were the first people to get a phone.
Well, who'd they call?
Other people, I guess, in the mercantile. They owned the mercantile.
They called Jack to order some food.
He just installed their phone. Why
Yeah,
didn't they
he
ask
just
him that
finished
while he was
installing
there?
it. He's the only number they had.
But Jack's been busy for some years.
Yeah.
And he dates back to that period of time.
Oh, so someone broke into Enid's house.
Yeah.
And they stole the sample. And then something happened. I saw something that I've never seen in a Hallmark movie before.
What's that?
Not only did they break into the house and steal a sample, I don't think we've ever seen a threatening note before. They left a threatening note.
This movie had a lot of like pushing the boundaries of what crime they will show in a Hallmark movie.
I was like, oh my God. It's like, damn, a threatening note.
And they looked at this note like they were looking at that cartoon character Schmoo. They did not care. This was unthreatening as all get out. Did you ask who Schmoo was?
Yeah, who's Schmoo?
Boy, Schmoo really hasn't had a lot of longevity in the pop culture world. No Schmoo movie. It was basically just a
big white blob. Looks sort of like a ghost, but not really. Sort of nondescript.
But it go like
Schmoo.
Kinda.
It's tough. It was tough for Schmoo to, continue on because it's tough to describe Schmoo. Schmoo is nebulous. Schmoo is literally nebulous.
So he was no Casper the Friendly Ghost.
We don't know if it was a he or she or what. I guess in a way, it
Schmoo is trans.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree Schmoo is trans.
Schmoo was before its time because there was no set gender for Schmoo. So in a way, we didn't really know.
Did Schmoo hang out with like a group of kids?
I mean, something must have been going on.
That had a band? Because didn't like all the cartoon kids have bands?
They definitely went through a period in like the 60s and 70s where like eventually the cartoon would get to a point where they run out of ideas and like, okay, now Pebbles and Bam Bam have a band.
Yeah, because they'd always have a band. But Schmoo didn't hang out with kids with a band?
No.
Well, I'm trying to look up Schmoo. I don't even remember how it was spelled.
SCHMOO.
SCHMOO.
I know this because my brother used to call still does actually, my nephew from a very young age, called him Schmoo. It's been a big running joke. I'll call him Schmoo. I send him Schmoo memes every year on his birthday. It's Schmoo this, Schmoo that. So
how old is Schmoo? Like 21?
He's like 25 or 26 now. So this has been going on for a long time. That's why I laughed so hard when you even brought up the Schmoo.
This is weird. Schmoo was created by Al Cap, who, okay. Well, Al Cap had that famous.
Didn't Al Cap create like Casper and
Little Abner?
Yeah.
Yeah, Schmoo first appeared in the comic strip Little Abner in 1948. But I remember Schmoo
lived in the country.
Now there's a story about Schmoo. This is what it says on Wikipedia. Okay, so they produce asexually and are incredibly.
I was joking about that.
This is what it says. Damn. This is about Schmoo. A Schmoo physically resembles a bowling bin with stubby legs. It has smooth skin, eyebrows, and sparse whiskers, but no arms, nose, or ears. Its feet are round, short and round, but dexterous. Okay, yes, they're incredibly prolific. They multiply faster than rabbits. They require no sustenance other than air. They're delicious to eat, so you could eat a Schmoo. They have no bones. There's no waist. Their eyes make the best suspender buttons. Well, it was
Little Abner, so they're eating possums and shit.
But then I think the Wikipedia on Schmoo is bigger than the Wikipedia entry for Michael Jackson. There are phases of Schmoo. There's an analysis.
I love that we live in a world where somebody somewhere has written a dissertation about Schmoo.
Al Cap
has researched this.
Is at his allegorical best in the epics of the Schmoos, writes strip historian Jerry Robinson. Wow. Oh my God. But anyway, what
actual intellectuals had a conversation or had conversations about the importance of Schmoo in our culture.
I wonder if this is a different Schmoo.
No.
Because now it doesn't.
Schmoo was created by Al Cap, you're right.
All right, but then when does it become a Hanna-Barbera cartoon? I don't even see that in this Wikipedia entry. Have I brought us down the wrong path?
So? Well, maybe you're just remembering there was Hanna-Barbera because it was around that time and it looks similar to like a Hanna-Barbera drawing.
I guess this is something different. I don't know. Boy, we've spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, we have.
Oh my God! But I don't know what to do with myself.
I learned something because I'd never heard of a Schmoo before.
Maybe we should watch an episode of Schmoo next week for the podcast.
Listen,
right?
It's the new Schmoo. So 1978 Hanna-Barbera was
the new Schmoo.
That was the new Schmoo.
So I wonder if they got the rights to do an animated show.
Yes, so it was based on the Schmoo from Al Cap, but it was the new Schmoo, and the new Schmoo. Oh God, who did some of the voices?
Now the new Schmoo sounds like he'd hang out with a bunch of kids with a band.
Yeah, true.
Wow, this is really something.
That's true, Schmoo.
It follows. Okay, here's what happened in the new Schmoo. Here's the plot. Similar to Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The show follows a group of teenagers, Mickey, Nita, and Billy Joe, who solve mysteries and crimes with their friend Schmoo, a friendly, bulbous. Is that the right word? Bulbous.
Yeah.
A friendly, bulbous creature who could stretch and shape his body to any form he wants. The teens.
Oh,
work
so I'm
for
sure
Mighty
that
Mysteries
Schmoo turned
Comics.
in like a car and would drive them.
The kids have a job too. They work for Mighty Mysteries Comics.
So this is basically like they saw that Scooby-Doo was doing well for them, and they're like, okay, maybe we need another mystery show.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, I stand corrected. This Schmoo had some longevity.
It's a pretty large Schmooniverse, if I'm
It had its time.
being
Yeah,
led down the
it
right
had
path
its
here.
time.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. Schmooniverse.
yeah.
This wasn't going to go on forever, but my God, the longevity of Schmoo, I'm blown away by this.
I do like that Schmoo could turn into different things. So like he'd probably turn into like an airplane.
I just lost interest in the OJ trial. Now I'm all Schmoo.
This has been a 6-minute conversation about Schmoo.
The new Schmoo.
Is there a Kato Kalin that like lived in the guest house of Schmoo? Schmoo's
Probably.
guest house. There should be.
Probably.
All right, I'm done. I'm not saying another word.
Well, like the Schmoo, we found out that the reason why Jane had to fake her own death was because it would have been a scandal if she would have just run away.
Yeah.
And, oh, so they go to find Enid, and Enid's doing aerobics.
Right.
And
He's very active.
yeah, and the reason why Enid's house got broken into was because Enid didn't lock the door. She's like, no one locks the door in this town. And we also find out that with the sample that was stolen, Enid had showed it to people because she wanted to get it framed or something. So we're looking. So that they stole a journal too, right?
No,
No.
that was her mother's journal. They had that. She had a journal.
And so, oh, I wrote here for some reason this movie needs a murder. And then, oh, so they started getting all these clues. So, like, one of them was like for an oak tree.
Ooh, Morris Day's song, "The Oak Tree."
And then they asked Hannah, was there like an oak tree? And Hannah, of course, like knew where it was. And they go to this area, and once again, they're looking for this oak tree, and Amelia's like, I feel like I'm being watched. So then her and Marcus are talking, and she's like, we should tell each other secrets. Like, my secret is I like coffee. I like coffee better than tea.
Yeah.
And then another clue came up, and they're looking for a garden. And they find out that the garden that they need to look at, or whatever they need to look at, is at the founder's house. And they need permission to go and look in the founder's house, but then they realize that, oh, the town's party, the town's birthday party is going to be at the ball at the founder's house tomorrow. So why don't we just look at it while we're at the ball?
Which I don't understand how that's not a crime. Like, I get that
Moving at a ball?
Well, no, they're breaking in. They can't break it in the house because it's a crime. But while they're at the party, they're gonna start searching this house without consent.
Is it a crime?
It is
Yeah,
kind of a crime.
You're at a party.
and also he's an officer, and he's searching for clues in this potential crime.
Yeah, a police officer shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would be a crime if you're at somebody's house and you just start looking. It's definitely rude.
It's rude.
But I
for
bet
sure.
on the new Schmoo they'd go to houses like, because I bet on the new Schmoo they always went to haunted houses like this. Because in Scooby-Doo, they always went to haunted houses.
Yeah,
We could do 6 more minutes on that.
And they always
I would like to.
You would not.
because they'd always find like secret passageways and stuff.
A Schmoo could kind of slide under the door. See, here I go.
He's not a ghost, though.
Or turn into a key.
He is an amorphous blob, but he is not a ghost.
I think
He
Schmoo's
turned into
coming
like a
back.
key and unlock the door.
Someone's going to hear this and put Schmoo into high gear.
Oh, So at this ball they had to wear like period wear.
How much?
Jason, were you hating this part?
Yes, absolutely. But one second. How? Like, what kind of drugs was Al Cap doing?
Are you still talking about Schmoo?
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking of it, like, it's so out of place with the other stuff, and he's just showing up at Andy Cap. Like, what the hell?
You're the one that said 6 minutes on this, and I said, all right, I'll be quiet now.
No,
back on Schmoo.
I wasn't judging. I was very happy about it.
Oh, you loved it.
Yeah. Of all the absurd tangents we went on, this is my favorite.
What were you asking? What drugs was Al Cap
Yeah,
on?
like it's this like normal cartoon, and all of a sudden there's this like asexual blob that he's writing in 1949. He had to have been on something.
And they were like cannibals because of obviously if they were making the eyes into suspenders, to suspender buttons.
I'm gonna see what Al Cap's history was. Let's see if he has had some.
This might be alcohol induced.
Now the Al Cap Wikipedia page, whoa, it's bigger than the British royal family's Wikipedia page. This is bigger than the Wikipedia page of World War II. I mean, this goes on. Oh, here we go. Sexual harassment and assaultment claims. Goldie Hawn.
What? Oh, actually, I know this story.
Goldie Hawn stated that Al Cap sexually propositioned her on a casting couch and exposed himself to her when she was 19 years old. Well, that's not funny.
Yeah, she was on the Smartless podcast a few weeks ago and told that story in great detail.
And he told her, go and marry a Jewish dentist. You'll never get anywhere in this business. That's not
look
cool.
at her now. She's like, I'm Judy Benjamin, bitch.
Yeah, he basically like had a pimp that was like going out and like recruiting girls to come meet him for a casting call, and then would like whip it out. He would whip out his Schmoo.
Damn it. This is really something. Oh man, he was really up to no. Yeah, well, I don't know. This gets kind of dark here, but he has exposed his genitals to 4 females at the University of Alabama, 1971. An investigative journalist wrote that. Nobody actually saw that.
Well, these girls likely did.
They did, if that, yeah. I don't think he was like, oh man, all kinds of stuff here. This is really, I don't even know. It's too much. It's too much.
So anyway, they're at the ball, and then Enid is like helping them out. So Enid is like, remember Remington Steele when Mildred Krebs came on?
Yes.
Like Doris Roberts. So Enid was like their Mildred Krebs. So Enid's like, well, I'll help you. So like they're dancing, they're waltzing. Luis shows up with his mullet and an outfit.
They drove down.
And well, no, this was like the hot ticket of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is like the antiques world version of like, you know, those conferences, those sad business conferences they do in the Midwest for like mid-level managers, but they all just get drunk and fuck all weekend. This is like for antiques world. This was that.
Well, yeah, I was wondering if like hookers do a lot. Sex workers.
Yeah.
Do sex workers get a lot of work during the antique week?
Absolutely. Jack was very busy.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, Jack has another job.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, Jack was very busy this week.
Put on his antique kneepads.
Yeah.
Oh, so Enid is like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll create a distraction, and then you guys can go up and snoop. And so then Enid like faints.
Yeah.
Like she goes like, oh, and
she
faints.
clutches her pearls. Oh,
and faints.
Like somebody from Gone with the Wind or something.
Mm-hmm. And there was a fainting couch right there for it.
Right.
Yes. I may fall on this couch.
So everyone's attending to Enid, and then Amelia and Marcus go upstairs to snoop. And I loved this part because I wrote, since it was an old-fashioned party, instead of having a black hoodie, they had a black shawl.
Oh, that's class.
Oh, that was classy.
Like an old-fashioned hoodie.
Good
and
touch.
Amelia traps the person in the closet.
Yeah.
And they open the closet, and they take the veil off they take the shawl off to show the villain. Just like, remember how like in Scooby-Doo, they'd always pull the mask off of the villain and go, Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Smith would be like, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you darn kids.
And in the Schmoo would whip it out. But because he was an asexual being, there was nothing to whip out. You just never saw it at home.
Yeah.
And so then in this one, they pulled the shawl off, and Amelia and Marcus were like, Poppy.
Poppy.
It was Poppy,
Poppy.
Bob's assistant. She was the villain.
Isn't Poppy like a Spanish for father? Or something? What is that?
Well, that's P-A-P-I.
Okay. But then there's this flower called a poppy.
Yeah.
Poppy. Oh,
like the poppy seed.
Because I know somebody named Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Flower pellets.
I know a couple of poppies, actually. So Poppy was the villain.
I'm going to spend 30 seconds on this, I swear, and then we'll get back to it. So in the 80s, there was a remake of the Mighty Mouse, and Mighty Mouse was sniffing flower pellets. And it's like it's cocaine. It looks like he's sniffing cocaine. Like,
well, it was the 80s.
But this was a big, I don't know if you guys remember this. This was a big controversy, like in 1987 or something like that.
Did he have like residue around his nose?
Yeah, he was sniffing. It was a Saturday morning Mighty Mouse cartoon. Ralph Bakshi was doing it. So he was, he did Fritz the Cat and different stuff like that. I think I've talked about this before.
So Mighty Mouse is all coked up.
He was cooked up, but they said
There's a lot of dark shit happening in the cartoon world.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, you know, like those Disney posters where you could see like penises and stuff if you look closely.
True.
Like they have like hidden penises and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
You knew about that, right, Kurt?
I think I may have. I know there was some Warner Brothers cartoons that weren't really racially sensitive. Some of the older.
No,
I think that was all the cartoons were pretty racist back in the day.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny, before he got into drag, it's kind of racist some of those.
A little bit. Anyway.
Oh, so then they catch Poppy, and Poppy's like, I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you damn people. And then Marcus is like, I saw your fingerprints when I did a check.
Which I thought was a lie. I thought he was saying that so she would admit something. Anyway,
and then Poppy's like, well, I wanted that locket for myself. And then Marcus is like, I'm going to press charges. And I don't think I've ever heard that on a Hallmark movie before either. No. Pressing charges.
No. Just usually let people go.
And he lied. He bluffed. Because he said that they found fingerprints on the note that was left. And he admits to Amelia that was a bluff. There was nothing in that folder he opened.
Oh, he did admit it. Okay.
Yeah. Look at them getting tough on Hallmark.
Liars and snoopers and kind of stuff.
So then he turned off his body cam and just shot Poppy clean between the eyes.
Right.
Damn. That's dark.
So then the next day they're like at an antique sale.
I feel bad for the knee pad line.
They're at an antique sale, and Marcus said something you should never say to a woman. He told her she looked tired.
Yeah, but what's the other one? The other one is calm down.
Calm down's a bad one.
Smile.
You sound crazy. Relax. Smile.
Well, smile.
Basically, just stop talking, guys. Just stop.
You know, people who say smile are the construction workers are like way up, and the woman can't get to them.
No, it's usually to women that are not amused by you to begin with, and they're like, "Why aren't you smiling more?" It's like maybe they're not smiling because they're not happy to be there in that moment.
I don't know. These easygoing. Never mind. Okay.
Oh, so So Marcus and Amelia go for a walk. We find out Enid decided that she didn't want to press charges, but Poppy was basically run out of town.
Yeah.
She was ostracized.
And then he asked Amelia if she wanted to press charges for stalking. And I'm like, once again, I've never heard that in a Hallmark movie. Do you want me to press charges for stalking? It was very Baby Reindeer.
I won't watch that show. That looks disturbing.
It's disturbing, but it is good.
I have heard of it, but I don't even know the broad premise of it.
It's not. I think the Jinx is more disturbing than Baby Reindeer.
Probably, that's what I was saying. I won't watch
because in Baby Reindeer, nobody was murdered, but she did stalk him for like 4 years.
Oh no, I'm not watching that. I don't want that.
Oh, so then Marcus really screwed up because so Amelia now is coming into a lot of money. And one of her goals was to expand her antiques business. And so that empty antique store in town, that would have been a good idea for her. And she even kind of mentioned it. And then, Marcus mentioned it. Like, are you going to expand your business and maybe go for that antique store? And then she goes to him, are you asking me to stay? And this is where he was supposed to say, well, yes, I am. And he goes, no. And so then he messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was kind of doing it, just hinting, like, I thought she was being kind of flirtatious when she asked.
Right.
And he said no, and he said it very seriously. So then we go to this proposal path where Jacob proposed to Jane.
Yeah, they're outside.
And then we see them again. We see we go back in time again.
Ugh.
And so we still need to find the other side of the other half of the locket.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for the other half of the locket, and then the clues are in the sample. So they're following the clues on the sample. They're looking for flowers, and they were looking for real life flowers. But then we found out that they weren't real flowers. There were flowers that were kind of etched into the furniture
At the bed and breakfast.
At the bed and breakfast, yeah. So so then we find out that it's actually on the staircase. And there was another clue, and then they looked at the flowers, and the flowers were all pointing in a weird way, but they were pointing upstairs.
Right.
So they go upstairs, and what was it? It was a drawer, right?
It was like a panel in the wall. It was like a beam in the wall,
right.
And there was like a panel. So there's like a knob on that. They turn the knob, the panel opens up, and there's a box in there.
And then they open up the box and they find a bunch of letters. But then they realize that there's actually a secret compartment in the box. And she opened it up and they found the other side of the locket.
So guys, if you find the secret compartment within the box, then the women will smile without you having to ask them to.
Right. And then they were like, now that you found the other side of the locket, you are going to find true love.
You leaned in for that one.
And he leaned in to kiss her, and the phone cock-blocked him.
Yep.
The phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca called.
And they were happy because they're like, oh my God, you found this.
Rebecca looked a little like that Phoebe Wallace, Fleabag woman.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
What's her name?
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yes.
So then, Francine's sad it's over. And then Amelia tells them that she decided to donate the locket to the town. And this is going to help the town financially. And the mayor who dumped Poppy, Bob, was so happy that Amelia gave the locket to the town that in exchange, like as a gift, he just gave her the antique shop. And so she's going to open it up and make it an extension of her antique shop that's in England. So she decides to stay, and she looks over and she sees she sees the couple from the past, and they're like ghosts, and they're walking down the street. And then she looks at Marcus, and they kiss, and the movie is over.
So she's going to stay.
And she's staying. And I liked this movie.
I did too.
Love.
Despite all the flashbacks to the people with the bad British accents that we didn't need, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Bloody hell. I think I liked it.
Yeah. It was good. And it showed that Hallmark is like, they're keeping up with the times.
They've got edge.
Yeah. I wonder if in the next few years we're going to see a murder on like a Hallmark movie.
Well, they do have the Hallmark movies and mysteries, and there are murders
like
on those.
Hallmark movie.
What? Well, still, it's the Hallmark brand.
Are the mysteries? Are people murdered on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the cookie
some.
murder.
Wow.
The one with Sammy
Like the
from
cookie
Days of Our
people.
Lives, that movie series.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The cookie murder?
Yeah, Sammy from Days of Our Lives.
She's like
It's
a
cookie
baker that
person.
solves murders.
Oh.
Or you could have the crossword puzzle murder.
I'd like to be a baker who solves murders.
In fact, this movie felt like it could be a pilot for a show.
Oh, it totally does.
It felt like they could do more of these.
And every week she goes looking for a different antique.
I'll also say this movie felt very cut from the same cloth as those Wedding Veil movies in terms of like trying to trace the origins of this thing. But this was way more interesting to me.
Yeah, and it didn't drag out so much.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I am happy that next week's a Lifetime movie again. Very happy. Because I do love I want to see a bonkers murder movie.
We did also find out during our periods between shows, we did find out that our very own Jason Fowers had done a voiceover for a commercial some years back.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a product that came out in the 2000s called the Ripstick. If you don't know what it is, it's sort of like a skateboard, except there's like a pivot point in the middle. So instead of like running your foot on the ground to go, you twist the skateboard back and forth. And I did the commercial for it back in 2007 maybe. And I'd never seen the Ripstick, even though the commercial aired constantly on Nickelodeon. And I finally saw one out in the wild.
A Ripstick?
Yeah, I saw some kid riding on the sidewalk, and I totally wanted to ask him, "Do you know who I am?" Because I mentioned casually a couple months ago to one of my employees who is in her 30s that I had done that commercial. She's like, "Oh my God, I used to see that commercial all the time. I wanted one of those so bad, but my parents wouldn't let me have one."
That's funny.
Oh, so that would have been on after 2007. Yeah, I wasn't watching Nickelodeon.
She's like, "You caused fights with me and my parents."
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Kirkendall, or you can find me on my website at leskirkendallbarrett.com. Also, April 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I will be doing my show, The Real Black Swan, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen, at the Lavender Festival in Atlanta. And if you want to find out more information about that, you can go to outstages.com. Jason.
What were the dates of that again, Les?
June 20th through the 22nd.
Oh, June. Okay, I thought you said April. Okay, cool. Please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us 5 stars. It helps more people find the show. You can find all of us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Well, my show, The Gesture of All Maladies, will be performed at the very first ever Green Bay Fringe Festival. I'll be performing at Brown County Democrats' offices.
Oh.
So they have a performance space, and that will be on Saturday, July 20th. I'll be doing a show at 4 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. And then on Sunday, July 21st at 1 p.m. So look that up, get your tickets, and that'll probably be the last time I'll be doing that show in a little while. So check that out.
Yes, and remember, if you have movie suggestions, please, we will take them. So you can get a hold of us on our Instagram or any of our social media and make suggestions. And we'll watch them.
Also mention the Shelf Shedding movie show. You could go back and listen to episodes that I've done with Jason DeBray, and he's also a friend of the show, so we will, of course, mention and recommend his podcast as always.
Yes, let's shelf some sheds. Let's shed some shelves.
And let's watch some Schmoo.
Yes.
New Schmoo.
I'm going to, after we hang up, while I'm eating my dinner, I'm going to go on YouTube and look for the new Schmoo.
Yeah, it exists.
Anyway, I guess that's it. So bye.
Bye.
Bye.